To do a bit of a walk and talk, say hello, and just chat about a couple things as I'm walking by the house of the boy who helped to get me fired and some guy who seemed pretty anxious about where I was going. Golden boy right there. And then 222 down here. Oh, I'm sorry, 220 and 222 at the same house. Nah, that's not weird. So Grimace, the guy that yelled at me last summer when I was walking Sam, I was going down the road on my bike to go get a pack of cigarettes, and I'm frustrated because little girl's in heat, and Sammy, of course, is a giant pit bull, and he can't do that with her. He can't hurt her. So it's very hard keeping the two of them apart. I'm not a vet. I'm not a breeder. I'm not a doctor. No part of this is medical advice. But I wanted to just kind of vent a little bit, but I think it's about some things that can help you guys. I was watching another gal that has a targeting issue. I think she's across the pond, you know. I think she's in Ireland, but it might be Coventry. I don't know. I'm real bad at that. I'm sorry. I share her videos, so I'll tell you guys about her when I share it next time. But she was talking about how she didn't know if it was her perspective that had changed or if everybody else had changed. Now, I'm going to come by the city planning guys, so I might have some problems with internet connection here. I don't know. But I'm going to keep going anyways and see what happens. I've already prayed. I've already did my I do not consent, but it doesn't always matter, you know? You do the best you can do. So she was talking about how, was there actually a fall in people's behavior, or was it her perspective? And as usual, I think it's both. I think that I was blinded about a lot of people. I always try to see the best in people, which is a gift, but also a downfall. And I know I have downfall, like I still have things I'm working on. But I know that I have things wrong, right? And I'm working on them. My family, the people that I love, are so different. They're not the way that they used to be. My spouse used to really love my children, had a good relationship with them. I wouldn't have stayed so long if he didn't present that to me. And they seemed really close. And he cared about hygiene and things like that. And I can't give too many details away because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But it's really bad when somebody doesn't even know they should be ashamed of a type of behavior. And I'm watching this decline in my oldest son, the one who seemed to be involved in a lot of this gaslighting with him when all this started. And I know that he's keeping secrets from me. You don't have to have gifts to know that. I'm a mother and he's my son. But I've gotten really good at observing people. And I told you how everything I love seems to be under attack. I am part French. France is being made a mockery of and falling really quickly into all kind of depravities. The Catholic Church is a part of me, you know, how I grew up, Pittsburgh, everything that I love. And I went over a whole list of it before, but this is why I can't have anyone close to me right now. I am so lonely. I would love to have a friend, but it seems like everyone that I love comes under some kind of attack. Even actors that I like. Like I always said that I liked Ryan Reynolds. Thought he was funny, thought he was wholesome. Now he's going through being dragged through the mud. Everything and everyone that I had an appreciation for is getting hurt. That's why I keep people away. But also because I know that, number one, they have access to my email and he's had it for a while. And I know that anyone that's allowed to contact me, it's because they're one of them. And I know this. I had talked to my cousin. He had said I could go there. Then a few weeks later, I tried talking to him and he replied about gardening and stuff, but then he didn't reply when I said, hey, you know, can I still come hang out there with my dog and whatnot? Anyways, where am I going with this? So I'm seeing this apathy in people, right? Now it started, I don't have my notes with me, and we've done individual videos. We've done individual videos about this, but, hi. You can look back to probably 2017, 18, a lot of things, and I know we don't trust the media, but we're going to go with it for a second. a bass player, I think, and a singer for Cannibal Corpse, a death metal group. He went kind of out of his mind at the same time I was in Florida, talking about how the rapture was coming, and this is a guy who was not religious. And then they did like some type of media block on him. He wouldn't do any interviews. Nobody would talk to him. And all his band members are saying, oh, he's good now. He's recovering, this, that, and the other. But there was all this stuff going on with him. And then you see Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell talking about, there's these doomsdayers. If you listen to their story, though, and you go in with no preconceived notions, they're talking about all the things that everybody else is already is finally noticing, like demon syndrome, right? Like people are they're not themselves. Then you have this MMA fighter, and I don't know his name, I just saw it yesterday, doing a video of his mom in Hawaii saying someone took her place, that's not actually his mom, and she's trying to sell all their stuff and put him away. This can no longer be put down to coincidence. Hi, guys. Down in a little park where I live, right down the road. It's like the only nature I have that's like super close by. So I come down here a lot. It's actually really cool when it's all filled out. And me and Sam come down here in the really early mornings when it's nice weather. And we see like the deer. Oh, it's beautiful. I saw Mama Skunk that ran me out one time. I talked about that. Anyways, so we have all of these people talking about how their family members seem to have changed. And then you have on the other side, people saying, well, there's this capybara syndrome, and it's a mental disease with people thinking their family members have been swapped. And then you have demon syndrome. It's not the people he's seeing, it's his eyes that are wrong. Now, man, how many times do we have to hear stories like this? And we're going to keep listening to bots in the comment section, algorithms that aren't even real people, letting them gaslight us and separate us and keep us divided. There is something very spiritual happening. And if you are somebody who's just watching it happen and you have that attitude of apathy, apathy leads to negligence. Negligence is one of the worst, I don't want to call it a sin, but I mean it is, because you're watching evil take place. You don't care about it anymore. You should care, right? Like, I just heard that verse in a song. There's a squirrel. I never saw a black squirrel in my life until I moved here. In my life. And everybody here looks alike except for me. And back when all this started, when it kicked off, and I was bludgeoned by that door by my pseudo spouse. When I went to the ER, there was like nobody there. Nobody was there, except for the person doing my stitches and like somebody at intake. I saw nobody. That's not normal. The whole time I was there, and then this lady asked for consent for the last stitch she put in behind my ear. Not for the other ones, just for that last one to tie everything together. My ear felt funny for a while. I really do think I was chipped and tagged, but here's the thing, guys, I was thinking about. The verse says that the Antichrist will cause everyone to be marked. Young and old, poor and rich, everybody. Will cause, kind of like force, coerce. I don't know if we're going to have a choice. I think with all of these orphan train talks, now how many of you have I talked to personally who've told me you have the same story as me? We never saw a real birth certificate. Our parents seem to have changed early on in our life. They were separated from us, or there was some trauma there, and they come back different. And, we still never see our birth certificate. We don't know our blood type. Our parents' stories of their history is very generic. My mom and her two brothers were abandoned. And they always make it a point to show you pictures. It's like they knew beforehand. If they have pictures, that's proof, right? You have to believe them then. And they say it now. And I think it's very possible that these people talking about how the tribulation is only 7 years, I don't know that that's the case. I don't know that it's not the case that it's the whole 70 years. Because we've been living in some crap. And I know life is beautiful. Like this, nature, life, real life, and light is beautiful, right? And you can make a beautiful life. I personally can't live with my conscience anymore. I mean, I have running water. There are people who don't have running water. Every time I ask Google a question now, I'm like, how many liters of water did that use? I I don't know how our consciences are going to survive this. People are going to have to like just shut down mentally, and it's already happened. My concern is that anyone who had surgery in the last few years very well might have been marked and they don't even know it. I am not, I'm not a doctor. No part of this is medical advice. This is my testimony. This is my life. I'm not having surgery. I'm not having anesthesia ever again. Every time I'm separated from people, somebody changes, something happens, and I really feel like my life is Truman. There's no traffic or anything unless they see me out and about. I always have like this escort almost. Somebody made the way for me to cross the street a little bit ago when I was crossing on my bike. I just kind of stood there and I didn't want to get in the way. And he pulled into the middle of the street and he was like, come on. And he just sat there. And so I could go and the traffic had to stop. It's like sometimes I'm treated like royalty. But when I go into stores and stuff, like I went into a consignment shop I hadn't been into since I worked at the Dollar Tree, and that woman wouldn't let me count my own drawer but said it was short and wanted to write me up for it. Man, I've worked at a bank. I've been a supervisor. I've been a data processor. I've been a nurse aide. I've been a restorative therapy aide. Like I have skills, man. I have skills. And I'm not as dumb as people think I am. It's my heart that gets in the way. Because I love my family. To a fault, probably. I love moss. Like, I have to say, I almost don't want to step on it. Lisa, it's bouncy. Like, if I had a home the way I wanted it, I would be that person everybody called a witch. Because I would live on the edge of town, close enough to get food or whatever and see people, but far enough away to have, like, moss as my floor and little window baskets of flowers and lavender and chamomile growing in like an herb garden off the side of the house. And now I'm like mourning this life that I didn't have because I made all these choices, and people look at me around here as if I have done something that I don't even remember. Like they blame me for some big epic thing that happened. If somebody would tell me what I did, I'd be more than happy to make it right. But it's really hard to be treated this way. Like, I've never been to jail. I've never had anything like that. He's been to jail for harming me, but I've never been in trouble. I don't steal things. I'm not a thief, right? Like, the things I've done have been self-destructive and they've hurt my family. And you have to understand that there's a ripple effect. That's what we're seeing now. You have so many people in sin, like watching corn, replace the C with a P. Watching that, like how many people we have watching that every day. Like you ask where all the people are, that's where a lot of the men are. And I'm not playing, like that's where they are. And these Masons and people, they don't pay for nothing. Like they use money out in public and stuff, but that's not what matters to them. They're voyeurs now. They watch people in their homes with cameras and stuff, and all this stuff is being leaked. Everybody called me crazy. I didn't know what I was talking about. I still have videos I've never posted of all these telephone lines hooked up in my basement that I found hidden behind a cloth banner, a Pantera banner he had down there. Like, I'm not stupid, man. I was a tech. I was a floor tech for a cell phone provider for the West Coast. Like, I'm not dumb. But it's really sad that there's this attitude. Like, I was talking to a loved one today, and I was like, why don't you care about yourself? Why aren't you taking care of yourself anymore? Like, this is not good. This is not okay. I'm concerned about you. I love you. If you don't want to talk to me, go talk to somebody you trust, right? But I don't understand this apathy. Like, I pour my heart out and I show that I'm concerned and I'm caring for them. And they look at me with these glassy eyes and they legit don't say anything. And I'm like, why aren't you saying something? Say something. You're hurting me just by, being this apathetic. There is no reply. And it goes on and on. Nice ride. Huh. Isn't that funny? Beautiful John Deere. At 222 with the guy who looks like the one, Diablo, who entered my family, telling me he was a fallen angel. Looked just like him. I don't know if I caught him on camera. And let's go back to when I lived at the other place before any of this happened, and I was in love with my kids and they were in love with me. One night my youngest was having a slumber party, and I met the kid who lives down there at 222. And I was like, where'd you come from? Like it was weird because I could have swore somebody else was there. I could have swore it was another kid. And I was like, oh, I never met you. And he's like, and he started telling me about his uncle who knows how to shoot, and he has a license and he gives lessons. Well, so did that guy. That guy had a federal carry license, and all he talked about was ice, ice, ice. You think it's a drug, don't you? Well, they're double entendres. I think they were warning me. I think that's why they took my birth certificate. I think that's why it was missing. They legit want people out of the country that they don't like. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But anyway, you're going to see them picking people up, and it's not going to be what they say. And people will be cheering for it, yay, yay. And it's not going to be criminals, dude. It's going to be real Christians. They're gaslighting you. They're love bombing you. Those evangelicals, those aren't real Christians. And none of those people, they're all actors, man. All of them. I know some of them personally. And I'm not lying when I say that. I live in BFE, Ohio. Netflix was serious. The devil is in Ohio. It's not a joke. It's for real. I can't believe I just walked past that guy. Unreal how people here lie the way they do. And I snuck out of my house too. I went out the back door because I didn't want them to see me, because I thought I saw him drive by in his little gold car. And my pseudo spouse still behaves like him. If you had just met, why are you still behaving like him? If you didn't know each other and you didn't set me up, why are you so much alike? Man, something weird is going on, and I've warned people. But back to apathy and empathy and all that. If you're seeing this in loved ones and you see that they've changed, don't be gaslit, man. Something is going on with people. Some of them have sold us out to a communist nation, to this policing ourselves and each other. But you have to understand, this is all for show. Everything that needed to be done has already been done. A lot of it is just to cause us stress. I'll give you an example. I'll give you proof. At 603, at the other house, before I was damaged. Well, it was like right after I was damaged. The neighbor, next door neighbor, the one that we knew from our past, who was like 15. And she was a lot younger than my spouse, so I don't even want to get into that, but he seems to have got around. They like to make you feel guilty, though. They don't care about what they do. And then what they'll do is everyone that's hurt me has given me a gift before they hurt me. Either money or makeup. Like when I was selling makeup, girls would give me makeup, and then they hurt me. It's like they think because they give you something that it makes what they're going to do to you better. I don't take from people anymore. Like, I know some people are trying to do charity, and they won't take my charity. I cook, they don't eat it. I buy food, they don't eat it. Like, I can't even be charitable here. I can't be what Christ wants me to be. But yet I feel like God wants me here. And I'm still trying to figure out why, and I still pray every day. But this apathy and this negligence, people not tending to themselves, people not caring about each other. The world has lost its shine for everybody, and people have to go further and further to feel alive, right? So they take more and more risks. And you see this risky behavior with like gambling and cars, fast cars, crazy driving. Because dopamine, everybody's addicted to the dopamine hits now because of social media. They have to have some excitement. Nobody can watch a movie or a video or a long video. It has to be these short things. Stop letting them brainwash you, because that's what's happening. And I know you're going to say, I'm too smart to be brainwashed. Man, that's what leads to it, is thinking that you are invincible. That's pride, man. You got to drop that. And even though I'm a traditionalist in a lot of ways, I don't believe in letting tradition, just because something's been done that way doesn't mean maybe you weren't wrong, or maybe we shouldn't evolve spiritually. We should be beyond holy wars. We should be beyond all this stuff. We shouldn't be voting on other people to, control us or whatever. It used to be the strongest, was the king. You come and take the crown, you're the king. If I knew who had it right now, I'd probably go try to take it. Just because nobody else is doing anything. If you're seeing people that you love decline in their behavior, in their attitudes, in their ways, try to reach them however you can. It's frustrating for me, and I lost my temper a couple of times today because the dogs are trying to get to each other, and they can't, or they'll hurt each other. But this is a situation he put me in. Because like I said before, when all this began and we had that neighbor and we had the duplex, she left for vacation. She left her dog there and it cried for 3 days straight. And I had to hear that dog for 3 days. And once I started crying and being upset, it's like she got home and it stopped. It's like they want to hurt you. They want to make you cry. And I don't know why that is. Like, I don't know what game that is. I don't know if it's just for loose energy. But I'd be willing to bet that somewhere we are entertainment for someone else. I don't know if it's another nation. I don't know if it's elitists. See, I cleaned the flower beds, but they're still rough. The snow just left, so the ground just got hard enough to like walk on without getting all muddy. There's where my axle's buried. But if you're seeing that people you love are being apathetic and they have no empathy, you're not alone. And you're not crazy. Hi, Axe. Mama loves you. I miss you. It's so hard for me to function. I'm really struggling right now, guys, just to like get up. And I have no desire to harm myself or anyone else. But I am angry. And I do raise my voice because it's maddening. How many years do you have to talk to somebody and ask them to reply to you and they just flat out ignore you? There he goes. I'd swear that was him, and I'd swear he's the one that my son and his friends, they all call him the Antichrist. And again, I don't think it's him per se. It might be the spirit that started there. And whatever it is, it's legion. They all talk the same. They all act the same. You could talk to one person in one state and then 2 years later talk to somebody else in a whole nother state and they'll say the exact same conversation with you. This is not in our imaginations, and what I'm going to do is do a video with a little bit of this because there are links all over the place now with comment sections and people saying, my mom went away in 95 and she came back and she's not the same. I think something might have happened when we were younger. I think that might have been why the thunderstorms were so much worse. I think they've been hiding this technology from us. Now they're going to act like our saviors because they're giving us all this truth, because they know what the blowback would be. And here's what my point to you is. Learn your consent and your free will. I'm so sick of hearing people say, oh, you know, it's life. You gotta pay taxes and you gotta die. The two things you gotta do. Number one, no, you don't gotta pay taxes. I mean, you might have to face some gruff, but you don't gotta pay them. And now what's with everybody trying to convince us not to do our taxes? I'm telling you, man, our government's down, and it has been. And now they're saying bears are like congregating on the road outside of Yellowstone, but they said that was just AI picture. But then if you go look in like Yellowstone for the past couple of months, there's a new not geyser, but there's a new steam vent that opened up there, and it shows that something's going on underground. Do like I do. Watch the people who go caving and stuff. See what they find as they're caving. See if anyone, you know, gets hot, or start watching, not the news, right? I mean, even YouTubers now, they've got scripts. This guy went to like all these countries in China, and I was watching, or all these, you know, areas of China, and it was scripted. There's another travel guy, young guy, same exact videos, and they're all talking about the houseless, and they all want you to hate the homeless. Look, man, I don't know how I can tell you this. They are wanting you to get into a position, and this is what happened with me, and I know. Number one, you have the armor of God, right? What's the first thing that will put a hole in your armor? Fear. You start fearing, that's a hole. They can get closer. Then if they dirty you with sin, I don't care what it is. If they get you to lie, keep a secret, hurt someone you love, because that's, again, it happened to me. And it's spiritually led, right? It's not a battle against the person themselves. It's something that's around that person or in them, right? Influencing their behavior. Learn your consent. You always have a choice. Always. No matter what people say. There's always a choice. Stop listening to the wrong people and the wrong sources. Apathy and this, again, they want to dirty you up so they can get... It's like... I'm trying to think of like a video game or something that's similar. But again, if you have this armor of God on, right? And you're walking in truth and light, and you're doing the best you can, right? And you're not willfully in sin. But somebody comes along and they offer you something, and it takes your inhibitions away. And then maybe you have, you know, you canoodle with somebody who's not a marriage partner, right? The closer they can get. the dirtier you get, the closer you get to falling. And when you fall, they have legal rights and permission to then hold you down. Okay? So I'm trying my best to help you from my situation to see it's not you. You're not alone. People have lost a lot of empathy and compassion. They're very self-centered and selfish. And it's not going to get us anywhere good. Please recognize what you can do about you. You can't control the actions of other people, but you can control you and the choices you make. And you always have a choice, friend. And I don't even think, because I've seen too much, I don't think death is what they say it is. Why aren't there more cemeteries? Why don't I see more funerals? Why aren't there more burials? Oh, 2019 happened, lockdowns. So what did they do with all the people? You can't go against a deceased person's wishes and burn them. Like, they don't have legal rights to do that. But maybe, let's say they did that. Okay. So they did that. He doesn't want the resurrection to occur, right? And I don't know if it's going to happen all at once, because all the time we see about these graves being open. I'm going to do a video about that too. And about people being buried alive all the time in when? The late 1800s. The word death wasn't even added to our Oxford Dictionary until the late 1800s. Our lives could probably be a lot longer, but one, they're getting us in sin, and two, they want your vessel. They want it to be inhabited by whatever this force is. And I'm going to go one further, like The Walking Dead says, how they said it's inside everybody has it and they just don't know it. I think that's what's happening with some people. I think in some cases, and I'm not sure why, I've got a lot of studying still to do, but I know that they're into the Egyptian stuff, and I know they're into like the cult of Set, and I know the 42 laws of Mayat, which are actually really good tenets. So I'm not downing anyone that's religious in that way, right? The problem is when you do harm and you know you're not supposed to be doing harm, or when you take the vessel of another and you don't have permission to do that, even if that's the way things work. So where does the kid go? You took somebody else's younger vessel, that's great, you get a good deal. Where does that spirit of that child go? Start observing people. Again, you're not crazy. There is no test for mental illness, by the way. Let's say that you're bullied, right? You're a kid bullied in school. And every day they steal your lunch, they steal your lunch money, 4 or 5 of them. Every time you go to the bathroom, you gotta be scared, and you're smaller than all of them. But one day, you decide to fight back, right? And you start slacking off in school, and you're a little grumpier at home, and everybody now surrounds you and points the finger and says, you have a mental illness. Can you please tell me why we're always pointing fingers at victims and re-victimizing them? Why is victim a bad word? Oh, you have a victim mentality. Why are we looking at victims and telling them how bad they are? Because somebody hurt them. Why are we not trying to rehabilitate the abuser? Why is that not happening? And I don't want to hear about your 12-step programs. Those are cults too. My spouse went to jail, come out a totally different person, man. And I'm not playing, a totally different person. So, something is happening. I'm sorry I was walking in circles here. Everything puts a hole in your armor, and if you are apathetic about the people around you and your relationships, and when you see evil, if you have no empathy when somebody is being victimized, please examine your heart. You're the problem, not everybody else, it's you. Okay, that's great that you can have a job and you can keep money and you can, get along with everyone at your job. What do you do to the people at home where you live? What do you do to your family? I have this man bad-mouthing me to anyone who will listen. He told his last job that I was on psychiatric meds, which I'm not. They will do anything if they don't want you in the picture. And everyone was doing this reset, right? A reset of their life. How many people did you hear about that got remarried during COVID, but they were already married? Go look it up. There's a bunch of them. This stuff goes on all the time. The polygamy, that's a sure sign that the fallen have been there. Sure sign. But these guys are falling for it because they're giving them what they want. Oh, you want young girls? Here you go. Want new technology to spy on people? Here you go. You need a little nose candy? Here you go. They're giving them whatever they want to torment people. So please tell me why we're so apathetic and why we're so negligent and why we re-victimize people who have been harmed, because it doesn't make sense to me. Please make it make sense. Please tell me why I'm supposed to feel unlovable and unlikable just because a bunch of people want me out of somebody's life so he can live some high life or whatever. Dude, live your life. Give me divorce papers. You can't. Blanche, can ya? Because we ain't even married legally. How many of you think you're married? Are you really? Is your husband a Mason? Bet you're not. I bet you're not. I know what I'm talking about. That's why they hate me. I am the only one here that didn't grow up here with these people. And I fell to the bait and I strayed and cheated on my alleged husband. It was not, he didn't care. It was all to get me to the point so they could end me and use me as a sacrifice. And then collect insurance money. How many insurance scams have you seen during the CV lockdowns? Bet if you look into it, there's a bunch of them. I never consented to any insurance in my name, but I had an issue with my mother when I was 17. I was underage. This world is not what they told you it was, and it can be beautiful, and you can have a beautiful life, but you have got to stand up for your sovereignty, your free will, and you have got to keep your loved ones close. Love is an action. It is a verb, and some of these things I can't believe I have to explain. However, I get it. People are desensitized, traumatized to the point where nobody cares about anything. I mean, everybody's trying to pull this homeless woman off the streets, making her, listen to this one, making her go to this place where they put something in her arm like they did during the lockdowns. And now she's got a big ball on her arm. Her one eye, of course, her one eye is like blind and it like shines. But they're trying to help her and she has to go because, and then look, you should read the comments. Oh, tell her to say please and thank you. Tell her to wipe her mouth. Man, that's a 50-year-old woman. And she even said it. I can take care of myself. I can take care of my area. I don't want to hurt myself or anyone else. She said, why won't you people just leave me alone? Why won't we? How much you want to bet she doesn't come out of that place they took her to? Why are they exploiting homeless people? And why are we consuming it? This is my plea to people, Generation X and younger. Look at yourself in the mirror. Examine your heart. If you know you should feel something and you're not, admit something's wrong. The only one who can change it is you and the one who made you. You're hurting the people who love you for Happy Meal toys and the freaking game of life. But guess what? I don't want to play no more. I'm opting out of this stuff. And if you want to follow me, you can. But I think I'm going to go live with Bigfoot if God allows me, because I've kind of had enough of this. Why are we living like this? And why do we put down other people who don't live exactly the way we do? Why do we ridicule people? Why do we bully people in our society? Grown-ups. I have grown men following me around. Grown men that shouldn't have my phone number, knowing they kind of intimidate me, leaving messages for me. And I told you about that 2 videos ago. That man should not have had my phone number. My cell phone is my cell phone number. It's under my name. I didn't give it to him. I didn't give it to the city. All these things they're doing are illegal. Now everybody's trying to convince you not to do your taxes. Guess why? You better check if you're married, ladies. If it matters to you. I'm gonna bounce, but I'm gonna do a couple more videos, I hope. But I don't really plan things anymore because like you can't plan anything. And I am struggling, I'm not gonna lie. I feel unlikable, unlovable. I can't even reach out to my family because something's just weird there. When I try to reach out to people, I can barely hear them. It's like I'm on another planet. Like a cell phone scrambler. And of course I go to make a video outside and that's what's going on. Every time any of us does a walk and talk, it's quiet until we get to a place and then like they bring the noise, man. You can't get away from it. Magenta on Golden Girls, the one gal, Ruth McClanahan, I always forget her actual Blanche. She said, whenever I'm feeling a bunch of things, I always say it's just magenta, because it's like that color. It's a little bit purple, it's a little bit pink, it's a little bit blue, it's a little bit red. It's magenta, it's a little bit of everything. That's how I'm feeling. Something's got to give, something's got to change, because if you don't bend with things, you're gonna break. And I don't wanna break. I wanna live. I wanna have a good life. I don't even know if these people let me leave town. I talked about going to the bus station, and he said, yeah, that's a real good move. You'll get shot while you're there. Like, what is that? Why are people allowed to, like, and I can't tell nobody. Nobody cares. What are they gonna do? Because he threatened me. And I was like, oh, no, I didn't mean, I was joking. It was a joke. Yeah, every night when you come home, I say, how was work? Oh, you know, killing homeless people. That's a joke. I'm done. I'm not keeping their secrets. This is, like, they're not confessing their sins. And I feel like I have to air it out for them. And I feel like we have to expose these things to the light, because the light is what kills and sanitizes things and cleanses them. Heat, light, fire, right? The brightest light you can think of. So if we pull out these things, and I'm not giving names, you know, but I'm saying there's something very wrong. I don't even care if my spouse doesn't want me no more. Like, that's not the point. I don't want his money. I don't want none of that. I would like the money back that I gave him and bought the car with, so I didn't have to just, like, be willingly homeless, because that's what the next thing's going to be. I'll try to leave, and it'll be the cops. What do you mean you're willingly homeless? I think you have a mental issue. Who would want to live on the streets? Who would just choose to do that? Who would choose to do that, indeed? Probably somebody that's dealing with a whole lot of crap at home that they shouldn't be dealing with. It's not even sanitary here. I clean all the time. And that's how you know it's demonic, because there's something happening. And all I'm going to say is it happens in The Exorcist. But in my house, it's happening every single night. That's not normal. And I can't get him to get help. And I can't do nothing but pray for him, because he's of age. What do I do? He's got more gray hair than me. He's holding something in. Something's different. Or maybe the souls of these people were raptured. Maybe they were. And I do believe if there's one rapture, there's probably like 3 of them. Everybody is correct. There's a pre, a mid, and a pre, what do they call it? A pre, a beginning, and a mid, or whatever. Because the angels are sent out to the 4 corners of the earth. And the last corner, or whatever, will be tribulation saints, or whatever. Something like that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Apathy, negligence. What is negligence? Do you know? What is apathy? Apathy is when you see something being harmed, someone, a being being harmed, for example, and you have no feeling about that. Like, you just go on about your day like nothing happened, and it doesn't affect you at all. That is when you're apathetic. And a lot of people like us who've been traumatized and then desensitized by our lives and our society and the way it runs things, a lot of us do get into that state of apathy. What is negligence? Negligence is if you realize that you're apathetic, or you realize something's going on with other people and you do nothing about it. Apathy is when you feel nothing. Negligence is when you do nothing. And both of those are sinful. And both of those don't affect just you. They affect the whole community, and the community affects the world. So please, try to lift each other up in the comment section. Tell each other your stories. Let me know that there's real people here and not just bots. I love people so much, and I love the good parts of life. I love the wind and watching the leaves dance in the air. Ruach HaKodesh. That's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit always, like, lets the leaves twinkle for me. I love it. My heart is heavy and sick for all of us, not just one of us, for every one of us. I love you guys. I want you to have good lives. I want my sons to have good lives. But you're not going to have good lives if you're treating your parents like garbage, and you're gaslighting them, and you're selling out your family members, and you're keeping secrets from everybody. That's going to make things very bad for everybody around you. And we've already got stuff going on in the earth because of our negligent behavior. And I'm not saying you got to worship the earth or anything like that. I'm saying take care of your area, man. Pick up trash. Don't be a litter bug. Don't throw plastic everywhere. Try not to use a bunch of plastic. If you go camp, and leave no trace. Because there are things in the world that they didn't tell you about. And they probably thought they were doing us a favor. You never do anyone a favor by lying to them. That's never. You can't provoke a good work or a good end result if you begin with deception. And we've been lied to our whole lives. But you have to realize it, recognize it, and rise above that. We have to do that. You are not crazy. Everybody here is a little mad. And I do love you. And remember, love is an action. It's a physical action, a physical expression of your feeling in your heart. You can't say you're a Christ follower and then hate homeless people. You can't say you're a good Muslim and then give no alms. You can't say that you love your husband or wife or kids and not care about what you're doing and how it affects their well-being. My spouse has left me here with these 2 dogs, knowing I have to keep them separate all day, knowing that hearing them cry hurts me. And I told him I couldn't take any more responsibility. I lost 2 jobs. I had a great resume. I can only get local jobs because now he's not my ride. It was fine when I was the provider, because then he did whatever he wanted at home with my kids, and I didn't know. Again, they've both extremely declined it. I'm not safe here. My health is not safe here with the things that are going on. But who do you tell? And I'm the one who has to listen to, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. But I'm the one who's held it together. I'm not doing strange things and behaviors. I mean, I've been called the C word. I've been called stupid. I've been called, you look like a Down syndrome, pancake moon face person, or whatever he said. Tarded. Like, really just dumb, immature. You know, I told him when I was at my aunt's, when all this stuff had begun after the escape room that night, when she had been drinking, that my aunt hit on me. And I was shocked or whatever, but I pulled her robe up because she like dropped her shoulder, and I said, I love you. You're very attractive and I'm flattered, but you're my aunt and I'm going to bed now. When we're having an argument, he throws that in my face. As if I just make this stuff up. Do you think he says, why didn't you tell me for years? Why would I tell you? You don't believe anything I say anyway. Why would I tell you anything? You take my weaknesses and you throw them in my face. What do they say about Satan? What does he do? He comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? And he tells you you're not worthless. You're not likable. God won't forgive you. You're going to hell. That's Satan. That's what I live with. I got to hear that stuff about myself. So please tell me again that there's something wrong with me and that I'm the problem. Shame on all the women who knew what I was going through and have done nothing to encourage me, support me, or offer any help. Shame on all of you. Not you personally. I'm talking to them. Thank you for being here. Let's make a new community. Let's start working on things every day on ourselves that we can control. Let's start working on our free will, strengthening our spirits. Let's start little activities if you want. Fast together. Let's deny ourselves certain things. Let's try dream experiments and telepathic experiments. Let's put our new gifts to work. Because I'm telling you, something's up. And if you don't learn how to use that stuff God give you, it's not going to do any good to you. We have problems. We all have faults we should be looking on in the mirror and working on ourselves. All of us. Because the one who says that he has no sin is a liar. I wanted to encourage you that you're not insane, that everyone's going through it right now. You're not alone. In spirit, we are together. And in spirit, when we pray in agreement on the same things, we shall get what we are asking for. Seek and you shall receive. So if I keep doing videos, I hope that you guys will join in conversations and share how you're changing your life little by little every day, just to maybe do it better and be a better person. You know, use less plastic, say thank you and please more, open doors for people. Go pick up litter in your local park. Up on the freeway, that's what I do. I take a bag with me and I'll pick up litter sometimes. If we go to the lake ever again, that's what I used to do there too. And I'm also tired of my family members being given a bad name. You know, I hurt them and I did them wrong enough. If their spirits are in these bodies and they have declined this much, I hope they listen, and I hope they work on themselves, and I hope they get whatever help they're willing to get and receive. I love you guys. Please be careful, be cautious, be aware, be observant. But if these are some other spirits if it is Legion that overtook my relatives and my family, neighbors, if that's what it is, they're making my family look very bad, because my husband, he had a lot of faults, don't get me wrong, like I'm not trying to say that, but he wasn't like this. This is bad. Like, this is just negligent. He loved his child. He would have never watched him struggle like this and not done anything. Help someone today. Make a difference in someone's life. Try just not judging someone as you see them. Make little changes if that's all you can do. Because if you're still denying that we're in it right now, man, you're lost. You're still deluded. You're still blind. You're still sleeping. You still gotta wake up. But I love you, and I'll keep trying. Have a blessed day.